Okay, so an exciting thing just happened in my break, right? 25 and 10. So I was timing myself, went, got a little tea and a little snack for my brain, some peppers I dipped some peppers in spaghetti sauce, which is really good. But what I'm doing right now is I'm opening up this. This is Thrive. It's a collection tube, swabs. This is for measuring the microbes in my gut. I have to, it's kind of gross, but what I need to do is collect a swab of my poop and put it in there. And then I send it back. And so, thinking about my gut health, now I can start to experiment with my body, and I have a baseline of what my gut looks like, what bacteria are there, and that gives me quantitative observations and qualitative, like what kind are there, that's qualitative, and how many of those kind are there, that's quantitative. So come to the live lesson, we'll talk a lot more about this, how to experiment with your body. You can also look at this as one of your lab report options. So my body, my experiment, we talked about it a lot in our live lesson last week, but you're changing one variable about your life and then measuring how that affects another variable. And so for me, I'm trying to cut out sugar, and I want to see my gut health before and after. And so that is what we'll be doing. Let's go ahead and do our next lesson, the bare bones. Okay, so space agencies from around the world have been sending humans just like you into space for more than a half a century. Since then, crews have set foot on the moon and lived in stations orbiting the Earth faster than most advanced jets. Your mission will be to think about how astronauts could land on Mars, farther than humans have ever been before. To do so, you'll face even greater challenges than your predecessors. You might be wondering, well, what sort of challenges? That's what we're going to find out. We're going to describe the functions of the skeletal system, how bones are living tissue, and illustrate the role of calcium in maintaining the structure of bones. All right, so the ROS report is the risk of space flight, generated by mission control to gather more information. Over the course of your training as commander, you'll receive reports like this to give you clues about the challenges your crew will face on their mission. This report seems to be about your bones. Take a look at the report to the right to find out what's happening in the bones of astronauts in space and why it might be a problem. Press next when you're ready to move on. Okay, so investigation into fractures. Here we have key issue fractures, target system, skeletal, cause of concern. As well as being painful, fractures make it difficult for astronauts to complete their day-to-day activities and maintain their spacecraft. In space, a fracture could permanently end a mission to Mars. Case studies, May Robison. I remember feeling just a whole lot weaker when I got back to Earth. I remember that just after a couple of weeks, even in the space station, I wasn't feeling myself. Joe O'Hanlon said, after I had been back for a couple of months, I was playing basketball when I fell over and fractured my wrist. I'm not sure whether my time in space contributed to it or if it was just a silly mistake while playing ball. Bobby Davison. After spending a year in space, when I first got to space, I felt really strong and healthy, but I gradually felt weaker and weaker. After 6 months, I felt like I wasn't able to do my tasks as well as I had when I first got to space. And these are early data from the laboratory. That's what we looked at last lesson. So here it says bone loss in an astronaut skeleton image adapted. Okay, cool. Next. What is happening to the bones of astronauts as they travel into space? Their bones are decreasing in mass. And that's going to cause all three of these. Bones needed to complete the mission critical tasks while astronauts land on Mars. Astronauts need their bones to complete routine maintenance. And then weakening bones make it more vulnerable to get fractures. If we take a closer look, you'll need two things. First, gather information about why astronauts lose bone mass in space. Then use that information to construct a way to prevent bone loss in your crew. Before we get to all that, take a moment to learn a little bit about these amazingly strong and supportive tissues. To get started, explore the skeleton shown here. Let's take a closer look. Zoom in. Here's the surface of two bones joined, connected at a joint. Let's zoom in even further. Zoom. Despite the hardness of the bones, the inner regions of some bones can look a lot like Swiss cheese. The inner region is called spongy bone, which, despite its name, is still very hard. At the cellular level, this is what compact bone looks like. Compact bone is on the outermost layer of the bone. To solve why astronauts are losing bone mass in space, we might have to go as deep as the cellular level shown here. Yeah, that's really cool. What do you think these darker regions are? That's maybe the osteocytes, those actual cells. And then the rest is that spongy layer. Okay. Making a prediction. What do you think? Before we begin, take a minute to think about what might be causing bones to weaken in space. Why do you think bones weaken in space? Give us your best guess. We won't judge. Weightlessness. Didn't we already did the, maybe we did the wrong lesson first. Yeah, okay. Choosing your path. Decide on what you'd like to do next. Your first order of business in the lab will be to understand the basics of what your bones do and how they're built. Are you ready to dive in, or do you want to ease into it? For the sake of this lesson, let's ease into it. Okay, which bone is which? Okay, cool. So we get to label some of these. Here's the skull. This is fun. Here's the humerus. We have the rib cage. Your thoracic is the upper part, and your lumbar is the lower. Here's the pelvis, and there is the femur. Okay, though you might not think about it, bones do far more than just keep us from being a puddle of muscle and flesh. Check out what your bones actually do for you. Okay, movement, support and protection, and storage. They store crucial minerals your body needs to function. Go ahead and write those down in your notes. They're alive! Did you know your bones are actually made of living tissues? Unlike what most people think, bones are not dead, lifeless structures. They're actually living tissue made of living cells that require nutrients from blood and excrete waste products. In fact, at any given moment, bone cells are hard at work building bone and breaking it down. Based on the information above, which of the following explains how healthy adults maintain a steady bone mass? Bones are generally built at the same rate they're broken down. Bones are only built in a human body and not broken down. Bones are only broken down. Okay, that would be homeostasis, building up and breaking down in a balance. What are bones made of? If your bones are constantly being broken down, how are they built back up again? So 50% is collagen fibers, 32% is calcium, and 18% is other minerals. And here it says 86% of teenage girls and 64% of teenage boys are calcium deficient. Uh-oh. You might have heard the saying, milk helps build strong bones, but ever wonder why that is? Bones are made up of mixtures of different components that give it characteristic strength. One of the components that gives bones its strength is calcium, which is found in foods including milk. Calcium is used to rebuild bones that is dissolved. You know what's interesting? Okay, cool. Perfect. Milk isn't the only way to get calcium. I was just about to say that. Which of these foods rich in calcium do you usually eat? You may select more than one. So here we have yogurt, here we have milk, and then cheese, kale, spinach, I don't know, empty dinner plate. Calcium in your body. Once you eat calcium, where does it go? After eating foods rich in calcium, your body can store that calcium in your bones. In fact, 99% of the body's calcium is stored in your bones. The remaining 1% is carried and distributed by the bloodstream to various tissues throughout the body. This 1% of calcium is enough to meet the calcium requirements of your body's cells. Cells use calcium from your blood to perform critical tasks such as making your muscles move, your nerves fire, and hormones function. So I would go ahead and write that down, what calcium does for the rest of your body. Which pie chart accurately represents the distribution of calcium in the blood or in the body? So here we had 99% in bone, 1% in the body. All right, designing a countermeasure. Any ideas? Based on what you now know about how bones are built, what would you suggest doing to minimize bone deterioration in space? One way I can prevent rapid bone loss in my crew is by, maybe you want to enter in there what you just learned about calcium. A diet for healthy bones. How much calcium is stored in certain foods? When there isn't enough calcium in the body, there isn't enough material to build bones back up again. As the captain of your crew, you'll have to make sure that everybody aboard has a diet rich in calcium. Rank the following foods from the best at maintaining. Okay, cool. So we're going to have to look through here and look at how much calcium there is in each one of these. And we'll find that right down there, calcium 10%. Here we have calcium at 15%. 1 cup of yogurt. Chips, 2%. That's not going to be super awesome. And calcium 4% in some tacos. All those look really good. So I'm going to put these at the second lowest percent calcium. Chips, the least calcium. And then between these two, we had yogurt with the most calcium. And some, what even is this? Yeah, some tomato soup. Second highest. There we go. Oh wait, I didn't get that. Lowest. Okay. So now we need to monitor their calcium intake. We'll look at their meal plan and convert calcium into milligrams by multiplying the percent value by 10. Okay, for example, 20% of the recommended value of calcium intake is 200 milligrams of calcium. Based on this sample diet, what is the total daily intake of calcium that your crew will receive? So if we want 100%, if 20% is 200, what is going to be the whole 100%? So the remainder of that, you're going to be up to 1,000. Okay. Oh, they want us to look at this meal: beef sausage, fruit, grilled salmon, beef potatoes, and chocolate pudding. Huh, pretty interesting. Okay, so, but all that adds up to 500. Okay. Monitoring your crew's calcium intake. Would this sample diet be enough? No, remember, because okay, 19 to 50-year-olds need 1,000 milligrams. Okay, so we're halfway there. We gotta eat more foods that have higher calcium. What would we do then? I would add a supplement, because you don't need to necessarily eat any more calories. Okay, so looking through, are we getting enough? Track the amount of calcium in your diet. Use the internet to look up 3 foods you ate yesterday. Add the percent calcium in each. Oh, this is pretty cool. You could even do it today. So I'm going to do that. Actually, yeah. So oatmeal, I put a lot of different things in oatmeal, so that's going to be tricky. One of those is not regular milk, but macadamia milk. I wonder, I should go look that up. Percent calcium in macadamia milk. Let's see here. Well, I'll go find that out and go look at. But go ahead and do that. Calculate your percentage. And then figure out if you're getting enough. And then, yeah, your recommendation, and pause and reflect. How confident are you? to know that the function of the skeletal system, bones are living tissues made of osteocytes, osteoblasts, osteoclasts, and calcium is important for the structure of that spongy bone and a compact bone. And then how much are you getting? All right, and finally we're going to go in, and this is the bulk of your work here, is to modify your crew's diet to make sure each is getting enough calcium. And so you're going to select your crew and then estimate the total caloric goal for each crew member. You'll learn more about this later. For now, we'll just set it at 2,000. So if you go into my mission, and then you can go ahead and alter their nutrition. So you can select different meals. So I could go to meals, and then I could like place in a meal here, like that. Okay? Okay, go ahead and have fun with that. And that'll be the end of this lesson. Good job. Make sure to take lots of breaks. I'm excited to share with you the results of my experiment. And I'll see you on Friday. Have a good week, you guys. Bye-bye. Oh, final thing, and I'll put this in the announcement, but I'm going to run an extra study hall if you haven't done your DBAs, or if you're needing help on any experiments. That'll be Thursday at 10 a.m. And then we'll run Friday at 10 a.m. as well. And our live lesson, 11 a.m. on Friday. Okay, bye from a little sleeping Yodi bear. Oh, yes. It was really cool to be able to see her bones. I'm going to share that with you guys on Friday, her x-rays. See the x-ray of a dog.